The defining moment isn't when you reach the top. It's when you decide to keep climbing even though your hands are bleeding and your legs are shaking. That's what separates the successful from the rest. Not talent, not luck, not circumstances. Just a simple decision that 99 of people refuse to make. Look around this room. Take a moment. Really look at the faces surrounding you. Each person here has dreams. Each one has goals. Each carries within them the seed of greatness. But here's the brutal truth. Most will never reach their potential. Most will settle for good enough. Most will choose comfort over growth. Most will find excuses instead of solutions. And that's why they fail. You nodded just now, didn't you? Because deep down, you know what I'm talking about. You felt that tension between what you want and what you're willing to do to get it. Today I want to talk about that gap, that crucial space between desire and achievement where most people get lost. I'm going to share with you the one thing, the fundamental difference that separates extraordinary achievement from mediocrity. This isn't about motivation. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. This is about something far more powerful. Have you ever noticed how some people manage to produce results year after year, while others just talk about what they're going to do someday? The difference isn't what you think. It's not about working harder. Many people work incredibly hard, yet never break through. It's not about being smarter. We all know brilliant people who never reach their potential. It's about something else entirely, something so simple yet so difficult that 99 people will never do it consistently enough to transform their lives. Are you ready for it? The secret is successful people take persistent, consistent action aligned with their highest values and goals, regardless of how they feel in the moment. That's it. That's the difference. Now, you might be thinking, that's obvious. I already know that. And intellectually, you do. We all do. But knowing and doing are worlds apart. Let me share something with you. For 7 years, I struggled financially. My income barely covered my expenses. I read all the books, attended all the seminars, set all the goals. I had the knowledge, but my life wasn't changing. Why? Because I was stuck in the cycle that traps 99 of people. I was waiting to feel ready, waiting for the perfect circumstances, waiting for motivation to strike, waiting for someone to save me. And while I was waiting, life was passing me by. Does this sound familiar? It should, because we've all been there. We've all found ourselves making promises we don't keep, setting goals we abandon, and wondering why success seems to elude us. But here's what changed everything for me. I realized that the people I admired most didn't wait for perfect conditions. They created them. They didn't wait until they felt confident. They acted their way into confidence. The now who succeed understand a fundamental truth. Action precedes feeling, not the other way around. Most people believe they need to feel motivated before they take action. That's backward. The truth is, taking action creates motivation. Accomplishment breeds confidence. Success generates enthusiasm. Let me ask you something. How many times have you talked yourself out of doing something important? Because you weren't in the mood or didn't feel ready? Be honest with yourself. That right there is why most people fail. They become servants to their emotions rather than masters of their actions. I want you to think about a goal you've been pursuing. Maybe it's building a business. Maybe it's improving your health. Maybe it's strengthening your relationships. Now, ask yourself, what actions have I taken in the past week that directly contribute to this goal? Not what have I planned, not what have I thought about, what have I actually done? The gap between your answer and what you know you should be doing. But don't beat yourself up. Understanding this gap is the first step toward closing it. Here's what the one do differently. They make decisions based on values rather than, when you operate from values, you do what matters, regardless of mood. When you operate from feelings, you do what's comfortable regardless of consequences. The choice between these two approaches determines the quality of your life. Let me give you an example. Every morning, I have a choice. I can hit the snooze button and get a few more minutes of sleep, or I can get up and start my day with purpose. My feelings almost always vote for more sleep. My values vote for getting up. For years, I let my feelings win that battle. And for years, I wondered why I couldn't seem to get ahead. Then I realized something profound. Every time I choose immediate comfort over long-term growth, I'm casting a vote for the kind of person I'm becoming. And those votes add up. But I've figured this out. They understand that success isn't about making the right choice once, but about making it consistently day after day, especially when they don't feel like it. Think about the most successful person you know personally. Someone who has achieved something remarkable. I guarantee you, they've mastered the art of doing what needs to be done regardless of how they feel in the moment. They've developed what I call emotional independence, the ability to act in alignment with their highest goals rather than their current mood. This is why 99% of people fail. They remain emotionally dependent. They let their feelings dictate their actions. And feelings are unreliable guides when it comes to creating success. But here's the good news. This is a skill you can develop. You can learn to take consistent action regardless of how you feel. And when you do, everything changes. Let me give you a simple formula. It's so simple, in fact, that most people dismiss it. But to live by it. Decide what you want. Identify what you need to do to get it. Do those things every day, no matter what. That's it. That's the secret to success in any area of life. But simple doesn't mean easy. In fact, this might be the hardest thing you'll ever do because it requires you to override your natural tendency to seek comfort and avoid pain. Our brains are wired to conserve energy and stay safe. That was great for survival in prehistoric times. It's terrible for achieving extraordinary success in the modern world. Success requires you to do things that are uncomfortable, unfamiliar, and often difficult, not just once, but repeatedly until they become second nature. And that's precisely what 99% of people won't do. They won't make the cold calls because rejection feels bad. They won't have the difficult conversations because conflict feels uncomfortable. They won't put in the extra hours because fatigue feels unpleasant. They won't save and invest because delayed gratification feels unsatisfying. Instead, they choose what feels good in the moment, and in doing so, they sacrifice what they want most for what they want now. But what if you could break this pattern? What if you could train yourself to do what matters regardless of how you feel? You can. And it starts with understanding that your feelings are not facts. They're just temporary emotional states. They come and go like clouds in the sky. You don't have to act on them. This realization is liberating. It means you're not at the mercy of your moods. You can acknowledge your feelings without being controlled by them. Here's a powerful practice. The next time you don't feel like doing something important, say to yourself, I don't need to feel like it to do it. Then do it anyway. At first, this will feel unnatural. You'll resist. Your mind will generate excuses. But if you persist, something remarkable happens. You develop what psychologists call self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to accomplish what you set out to do. And self-efficacy is the foundation of all achievement. Let me tell you something else about the one that most people miss, They're not superhuman. They face the same doubts, fears, and insecurities as everyone else. The difference is they've learned to act despite these feelings, not in the absence of courage is in the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite it. Discipline isn't enjoying the work. It's doing it regardless. Commitment isn't feeling motivated all the time. It's honoring your word even when motivation fades. The most successful people I know aren't the ones who never feel like quitting. They're the ones who feel like quitting but show up anyway. That's the difference. That's what separates the one from the rest. And here's what's fascinating. Once you start acting this way consistently, your feelings actually begin to change. Your brain creates new neural pathways. What once felt difficult becomes easier. What once seemed impossible. But you can't wait for this transformation to happen before you begin. You have to begin in order for the transformation to happen. This is where 99% of people get stuck. They're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect feeling, the perfect circumstances. And while they wait, their dreams remain just that, dreams. They want to understand that the perfect moment is now. The perfect feeling is commitment. The perfect circumstance is the decision to begin. So I ask you, what important action have you been postponing until you feel ready? What goal have you been putting off until conditions are just right? Whatever it is, that's where your breakthrough is waiting. And I promise you this. The moment you decide to take action, regardless of how you feel, that's when everything changes. That's when you join the win. Because success isn't about feeling good first and then taking action. It's about taking action first and then feeling good as a result. This is the fundamental shift that transforms ordinary lives into extraordinary, and it's available to you right now, in this moment, through the simple but profound decision to act on what matters most, regardless of how you feel. Now, let me share something powerful with you, something that changed my entire perspective. We live in a world cause and effect. Everything that happens in your life, everything, is the result of specific causes. Nothing happens by accident. Nothing happens by chance. Your current financial situation, it's the effect of specific causes. Your health, the effect of specific causes. Your relationships, the effect of specific causes. Most people spend their lives focusing on effects. They complain about their weight while eating unhealthy foods. They worry about money while making poor financial decisions. They wish for better relationships while engaging in toxic behaviors. The focus on causes. They understand that if you want to change the effects in your life, you must change the causes that produce them. This seems obvious, doesn't it? Yet how many people do you know who keep doing the same things while expecting different results? That's the definition of insanity. And it's the default mode for 99% of people. Here's a truth that might be hard to hear. Your life today is the sum total of your choices, not your circumstances, not your luck, your choices. Do you want to embrace this truth? The 99 run from it. Why? Because accepting responsibility means acknowledging that we have the power to change. And with power comes responsibility. With responsibility comes accountability. With accountability comes the discomfort of facing our own role in creating our current situation. It's much easier to blame outside forces, the economy, the government, our upbringing, our boss, our spouse, bad luck. But here's what the one even if you're not responsible for all the circumstances in your life, you are responsible for how you respond to them. Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps, said the last of human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. If someone in those horrific conditions could find the freedom to choose his response, what excuse do the rest of us have? Don't ask, why is this happening to me? They ask, what can I do about it? They don't dwell on what they can't control. They focus relentlessly on what they can. This distinction changes everything. Let me ask you questions. What area of your life are you currently dissatisfied with? Take a moment to think about it. Now be brutally honest with yourself. What actions have you been taking that directly contribute to this situation? What actions have you been avoiding that could change it? The answers might be uncomfortable. They might even be painful, but they contain the seeds of your transformation. Because once you identify the causes, you can change them. And when you change the causes, the effects must change as well. It's a law as reliable as gravity. But here's where 99% of people get stuck. They want the effects to change without changing the causes. They want the rewards without the work, the results without the effort, the destination without the journey. And it doesn't work that way. It never has. It never will. But I want to understand something profound. Success is never owned. It's rented. Think about that. Success is never owned. It's rented. And the rent is due every day. What does this mean? It means that yesterday's efforts won't pay tomorrow's bills. It means that past achievements don't guarantee future success. It means that you must continually earn your place among the successful through consistent, disciplined action. This is why so many people who achieve initial success eventually fail, They forget that success isn't a destination. It's a continual journey. They forget that the rent is due every day. The moment you stop paying that rent, the moment you stop taking the actions that created your success in the first place, is the moment your success begins to erode. Look at any area where you've achieved something significant. I guarantee you maintain certain disciplines, certain habits, certain actions that produce those results. And if you stop those disciplines, those habits, those actions, the results would eventually disappear. This is the law of cause and effect in action. It's impartial, it's universal, and it's the key to understanding why 90-90 people fail. They're unwilling to pay the rent consistently. They work hard for a while, then ease off. They focus intensely for a period, then get distracted. They commit wholeheartedly at the beginning, then waver when it gets tough. The fun pay the rent every day, rain or shine, good mood or bad, convenient or inconvenient. They understand that consistency trumps intensity every time. A person who works out moderately but consistently will achieve far better results than someone who exercises intensely but sporadically. A business that delivers good value reliably will outperform one that delivers excellent value occasionally. A relationship nurtured daily through small acts of kindness will flourish more than one sustained by grand gestures once in a while. Consistency is the ultimate competitive advantage, and it's available to anyone willing to pay the price. But there's another crucial element that separates the Wang from the rest. They understand the power of incremental improvement. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day and underestimate what they can achieve in a year. They want dramatic results immediately, and when those don't materialize, they give up. They want to take a different approach. They focus on getting just a little bit better each day. They understand the compound effect of small improvements made consistently over time. If you improve just one daily, after a year, you'll be 37 times better. Not 365, better. 37 times better. That's the power of compound growth. But this approach requires patience and faith. Patience to keep showing up day after day when results aren't immediately visible. Faith that the process will work if you stick with it long enough. And that's precisely what 99 of people lack. They want the transformation without the transition. They want the butterfly without the chrysalis. They want the oak without the acorn. But nature doesn't work that way, and neither does success. Growth is gradual, then sudden. It follows what appears to be a flat line for a long time before a dramatic upturn. To understand this pattern and trust the process even when progress seems slow. They know that most meaningful achievements require a long-term perspective. They're willing to delay gratification now for greater rewards later. The 9 guard, on the other hand, sacrifice their future on the altar of the immediate. They choose what feels good now over what produces results later. The short-term thinking infects every area of life. It's why people rack up credit card debt instead of building savings. It's why they binge-watch television instead of reading books that could change their lives. It's why they react emotionally to criticism instead of using it as feedback to improve. They have developed the habit of making decisions based on their long-term impact rather than their immediate payoff. They ask, will this choice move me closer to my ultimate goals? Rather than, will this choice make me feel good right now? This perspective shift is transformative. It turns obstacles into opportunities. It turns failures into lessons. It turns setbacks into setups for comebacks. But it requires a fundamental rewiring of how we think and act. It requires us to override our natural tendency toward immediate gratification. How do we do this? How do we join the ranks of the Wen? It starts with clarity. You must know exactly what you want and why you want it. Your why must be powerful enough to pull you through the inevitable challenges and setbacks. Without clarity, consistency is impossible. You'll drift from one goal to another, never gaining traction, never building momentum. You'll be like a ship without a rudder, at the mercy of whatever winds happen to be blowing at the moment. They would take the time to get clear about their values, their vision, and their goals. They write them down. They revisit them regularly. They use them as a compass to guide their daily decisions and action. Once you have clarity, the next step is to develop rituals. Specific, concrete actions you take consistently regardless of how you feel. Rituals remove the need for willpower because they become automatic over time. The most successful people I know have morning rituals that set them up for productivity. They have work rituals that keep them focused. They have relationship rituals that nurture their connections with others. They have health rituals that maintain their energy and vitality. These rituals aren't occasional. They're non-negotiable. They're as much a part of their day as breathing. The 99 rely on motivation, which is fickle and unreliable. The worldly on discipline, which is steady and dependable. But here's something crucial about discipline that most people misunderstand. It's not about forcing yourself to do things you hate. It's about training yourself to do what serves your highest goals and values, even when you don't feel like it in the moment. True discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. It's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's what allows you to live by design rather than by default. And it's built through small, consistent actions taken day after day. This brings us to another key distinction between the one and the rest. They focus on systems rather than goals. Goals are important for setting direction, but systems are what actually produce results. A goal is winning the championship. A system is what you do at practice each day. A goal is writing a book. A system is sitting down to write for an hour each morning. The one design systems that make success inevitable if followed consistently. They don't leave their achievement to chance or mood or motivation. They create environments and routines that pull them toward their goals rather than pushing against resistance. This is why they succeed where others fail. They've made success a matter of course rather than a matter of chance. But let's be honest, none of this is easy. If it were, everyone would be doing it. The path of the Wayne is challenging. It requires sacrifice. It demands discipline. It calls for courage. This is where another crucial quality comes into play. Resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to persist in the face of obstacles, to keep going when everything within you wants to quit. The one aren't immune to failure. They fail more often than most because they attempt more. The difference is in how they respond to failure. While the 99 see failure as a reason to quit, the ones see it as a reason to grow. They don't take failure personally. They take it instructionally. They extract the lesson, adjust their approach, and try again. This resilience isn't innate. It's developed through a specific mindset that views challenges as opportunities rather than threats. It's built by facing difficulties head-on rather than avoiding them. And it's strengthened through what I call voluntary hardship. Deliberately doing difficult things that stretch your comfort zone and build your capacity to endure discomfort. The ones that really challenge themselves physically, mentally, and emotionally. They run when they could walk. They learn when they could relax. They engage when they could avoid. They face their fears instead of running from them. Through these voluntary hardships, they develop a psychological strength that serves them in every area of life. They build what ancient philosophers called anti-fragility, the quality of growing stronger through stress rather than being damaged by it. This quality is rare in our comfort-obsessed society. We've become so accustomed to ease that we've lost our capacity for productive struggle. We avoid discomfort at all costs, not realizing that discomfort is the price of growth. One have rediscovered this ancient wisdom. They understand that the things that challenge you the most develop you the most. They grasp what every farmer knows. No pressure, no diamonds, no resistance, no strength, no struggle, no growth. This mindset turns obstacles from enemies into allies. It transforms problems from burdens into opportunities. It changes the fundamental question from why is this happening to me to how can this strengthen me? And that shift makes all the difference. But there's one more crucial element that separates the one from the rest, and it may surprise you. They prioritize recovery. The most successful people I know aren't workaholics who grind themselves into exhaustion. They're methodical about how they expend energy and equally methodical about how they renew it. They understand that sustainable success requires a rhythm of exertion and recovery. They work intensely, then rest completely. They focus totally, then disengage fully. They push their limits, then allow for restoration. This rhythm isn't just productive, it's sustainable. It prevents burnout. It maintains enthusiasm. It preserves health. It enables longevity. The 99 clan, on the other hand, either work sporadically with lots of distractions and low focus, or they push themselves relentlessly until they crash. Neither approach produces optimal results over the long term. The Rohn have figured out the delicate balance between pushing hard enough to grow and recovering well enough to continue. They've mastered the art of sustainable excellence rather than sporadic brilliance. This balance extends beyond work to every area of life. They nurture their relationships. They care for their bodies. They feed their minds. They attend to their spirits. They understand that success in one area at the expense of others isn't success at all. It's merely a different form of failure. True success, the kind that brings fulfillment rather than just achievement, requires harmony among the various dimensions of life. It demands wholeness, not just accomplishment. And this brings us to perhaps the most profound difference between the one and the rest. They measure success differently. While the 99 define success in terms of external achievements and possessions, they define it in terms of internal growth and contribution. They ask not just what have I accumulated, but who have I become? Not just what have I gotten, but what have I given? This perspective shift changes everything. It transforms success from a destination to be reached into a person to be created. It shifts the focus from having to being, from achieving to becoming. And in this shift lies the secret to lasting fulfillment. Here's the truth that the one have discovered. The greatest reward of success isn't what you get. It's who you become in the process of achieving it. It's not just the destination. It's who you are when you arrive. The discipline, courage, resilience, patience, and wisdom developed along the journey are far more valuable than any external rewards. They can't be taken away. They can't be lost in a market crash. They can't be stolen. They become part of who you are. Your character, your identity, your legacy. This is why the one continues to pursue growth even after they've achieved conventional success. They understand that the journey never ends, that there's always another level, another challenge, another opportunity to become more, give more, and they embrace this journey not as a burden, but as a privilege, not as something they have to do, but as something they get to do, not as a sacrifice, but as a gift. This is the ultimate mindset shift that separates the one from the rest. They don't just endure the path to success. They fall in love with it. They don't just accept the process. They embrace it. They don't just go through the motions. They bring their full selves to each moment, each challenge, each opportunity for growth. And that's what I'm inviting you to do today. Not just to understand intellectually what separates the one from the rest, but to make the decision, the profound, life-altering decision to join their ranks, to become someone who takes action regardless of mood, who focuses on causes rather than effects, who pays the rent on success every day, who embraces incremental improvement, who values consistency over intensity, who builds resilience through voluntary hardship, who balances exertion with recovery, who measures success by internal growth and contribution rather than external achievements alone. This decision, should you make it, will not be easy to keep. There will be days when you falter, moments when you question, times when you doubt. That's part of being human. Even the one experience these challenges. But what separates them is their commitment to getting back on track quickly. They don't let a momentary lapse become a permanent surrender. They don't allow a single failure to define their identity or determine their future. They acknowledge their mistakes, learn from them, and move forward with renewed determination. And you can do the same. You can make the choice right now to join the one, to refuse to be defined by your past actions or limited by your current circumstances, to commit to a future of growth, contribution, and fulfillment. The opportunity is before you. The decision is yours. The time is now. Will you continue to live as the 99 reactive, inconsistent, driven by feelings, focused on short-term comfort at the expense of long-term fulfillment? Or will you step into the one, proactive, consistent, guided by values, willing to embrace discomfort in service of growth? The choice you make in this moment has the power to alter the entire trajectory of your life. Choose wisely, because ultimately, success isn't something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. And who you become is determined by the choices you make every day, especially when no one is watching. So I ask you, what choice will you make today, and tomorrow, and the day after that? Your answer to these questions will determine whether you remain among the 99 or rise to join the one. The decision is yours. Choose well. Choose now. Your future self is counting on you.